everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having an absolutely amazing day today. If you're new here, hi, I'm Liz, aka My Pastel Past, and I'm back with another video. As some of you might know, we have started working on my new island, Coral Cove, which is a resort theme. So for today's video, I thought we would start working on the interior of my house. I'll most likely end up having two different houses on this island, so I'll bring you around for another journey when I have the second house up and going. But for today, we're going to be transforming this room into a resort lobby and office space, so let's hop right into that video. So for this build, I really wanted to focus on following a color scheme and kind of like this really bright, breezy feel to it. Since my island is going to be almost like a getaway resort, I wanted to have that be brought into my home as well. Although I won't be making a home today, instead I'm going to be changing this space into a lobby and also an office space. So this build is going to focus on this main room here and also the back room, which will be turned into more of like an office space for the hotel staff. I really wanted to focus on the island colors that I've been using so far, which is a lot of greens, whites, and blues. So I really wanted to have that flow into this kind of hotel lobby as well. I ended up going with this blue wood panels and abstract wall. I think they're very bright and fresh, especially having the white wood flooring. I thought if I had white on white, it would be too much. So having this nice little pop of blue is something just a little bit different almost. And I just wanted to add as many elements as I could to this build. I originally thought having some wood panels might be nice for the counter space that I wanted to have in here. I end up changing that later, and of course I had to use as many plants as possible. I wanted it to be extremely green, so I ended up using a lot of different plants. I used a bunch of fans, some air conditioners. I used a lot of items that I haven't really used before, so I was super excited. And of course, I had to incorporate a magazine rack. Every single hotel I've ever gone to has always had some sort of magazine rack somewhere in their lobby, either with brochures of the area that I'm visiting or things to do in the area. So I was like, yep, nope, this is a thing that I have to use. Although I do end up changing the placement, I thought maybe having a plant partition. I end up putting the rack there instead because I end up using this Moroccan sofa. And oh my goodness, am I obsessed with it. I think it's so perfect for this build. It's bright, it captures your attention. It's kind of like a statement piece almost, with everything else being very monotoned almost. It's the same color. There's not a lot of aspects to it. The Moroccan set just kind of, it's like a step up almost, I guess I could say. Although I did have trouble finding my second Moroccan sofa, so I ended up just leaving it be for the time being, and I end up having to just go into my inventory and placing it myself because I could not find it. And then I ended up using this I don't know what to call it. I know it's part of the Nordic set, but I always want to call it like a TV stand almost, but just as like a backdrop for it. And I just changed up my counter so it's a little bit more white, and I end up using this peacock chair instead of an actual desk chair. I absolutely love the peacock chair, and I want to use it in as many different items and builds as possible. And then I used a little bit of the pipes. I just thought that it added some dimension to the hotel. I'm not really sure what else use there it would be for, but just to add something to the wall. I feel like if you went to a hotel room, they might have some pipes hanging out, especially if it was an older hotel that's been newly renovated, which I feel like this lobby kind of gives the vibes of. And I absolutely love how the fan makes the plants move as it rotates. Isn't that cute? I love that little detail in this game. Absolutely amazing. But I'm just adding as many little elements as I can. This is the point where I just could not find that sofa, so I had to look for it myself and place it down. And it ended up turning out pretty good. I ended up moving the stool just a little bit because I thought if I had them both right at the front, it would be too much. And now I'm just adding some little details here and there. I thought maybe of placing a pot. I end up removing it just because I don't like how big it is and I feel like it takes away from the rest of the room. Of course, I have to have a clipboard so that our guests can sign in at the front. And then I'm just adding a few little details here and there to just kind of bring it all together. And I do end up adding things to the walls, which I'm doing right now, which is something that I've been trying to get in the habit of doing. I don't often add wall decoration. I'm not used to adding wall decoration or ceiling decor, so it was fun to actually mess around and use that. All these different items in this build, and I used as many fans as I could. I like to picture it as this island being blistering hot, so you need all the cool air you can get. This ended up being the finish for the lobby, and now we're hopping right back into the second room, which is the back room. So this is more of an office space that I'm working with. I thought behind the front desk there might be an area for some of the workers to sit down, to do some paperwork, make reservations, things like that. So I wanted it to also be very bright and airy and still follow this white and blue and green kind of color scheme almost. Although I did end up using different walls. I love this open window idea. I don't remember what the wallpaper is called, but having it almost like you're like outside with the big windows, it really gives me an office vibe. I don't know why. Every single time I look at that wallpaper, I just think of an office for some reason. So I use those. I end up changing and flipping the wallpaper, so in the end those big windows end up being all over the room, and instead I have the white wood panels on that one accent wall. But at this point I'm just kind of adding my main elements. I wanted my white desks all in the middle, kind of facing each other, and then the computers on top. And I thought to add some personality to the desks because it looked very uniform at this point, I would give them all different chairs. And this was really a struggle for me because I didn't want anyone to have the same chair as someone else, because I figured if you're in your office and there's only one thing you could change, it's your chair, you don't want to have the same chair as someone else. So I tried giving each person a different chair. It was really hard. I ended up giving this person in the front left a stool because I just did not see any other chair fitting in this space. And I went, well, maybe someone likes a stool instead. In hindsight, I could have used something like an exercise ball that probably would have fit a little bit better and looked cooler. But oh well, I guess this stool works for now. I might change it later. Now I'm just able to find a few little elements to add here and there on their desks. I really wish that I could like pile on some of these items. Like this water ball is such a, not like tiny item, but I feel like I could put it in like a corner of the grid square that it takes up and still have space. So I don't know. I also started using these racks. I thought it would be cool to have some storage in the back of everyone's office. And then I ended up using the Nordic shelf or TV stand, whichever one it's called again. And then I had to go in and customize the shelf so it was all white. And at this point, I started messing around with the wall. As much as I love the windows there, I figured that the windows look better being elsewhere instead of right where the shelving unit is blocking that sunlight. And I really went back and forth with a few different wallpapers as an accent. And I ended up settling on the white painted wood panel just because it kind of blended in with the shelves a little bit more and it didn't take away from the dynamic of the room. Instead of having something really pop there. And my thought for this back area would be almost like a coffee break. So I have the infused water, I add a water bottle, I add a little jar of like cookies or candies or something. Just to be like, if our workers need a snack, they can just pop quick into the back of the office, grab some water, grab some cookies, and go on with their day. Just because they don't have a break room. So it was like, well, I might as well put it in the office there. And then I just added a little bit of shelving at the front. I was originally going to use boxes, but I just didn't like the idea of having boxes with this office space. So I decided against it, and instead I just added some shelves. And it wouldn't be a build of mine if I didn't add a bunch of plants. So I'm adding some of these, I think they're like palm fans. But this is the finished, well, with the lights, the finished office. I really like how it turned out in the end. I think it's really cute. I wasn't really able to add much for walls. I just had the air conditioner, just because I had windows everywhere. But this is the finished build. I hope you all like it. I really like how both of these rooms turned out, and I'm excited to see what I'm able to do when it comes to making the hotel rooms itself. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like this content and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye!